In my last video, I talked about digital detox in 30 days, and that's a time-tested, research-based plan that so many parents have used over the years to get their children weaned from screen addiction. In today's video, I will still be discussing digital detox, but from a different perspective. Hi, I'm Gosi Okure. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this channel, we discuss books and reading and how to leverage reading for success in life. Please subscribe to my channel, and if you can give me a thumbs up, that would be amazing. In today's video, I'll be looking at digital detox from the perspective of a mother of 3 Gen Z children who are upwardly mobile. I'm going to be sharing a wealth of experiences that I know that can help to keep our children off the screen and to get them focused on books. But first, I want to tell you a story. And this is a true life story as shared by Andrew Womack. Andrew Womack said there was a particular mother who had a son who was going out with the wrong crowd. The mother perceived that this child was moving out with wrong boys in the neighborhood and he didn't want it. She thought about what to do to get that child off that crowd. You know that at that age, most of them are next door neighbors to rebellion. So the mother thought about what to do, eventually reached a compromise with the son. The son wanted a particular type of car, and the mother told him, you know what, I'll buy you this car on the condition that you go to Caris Bible College, stay there for 6 months, attend their lectures, hear what they say there. If you stay there for 6 months and you come back, I'll get you this car. And the boy agreed. The young man agreed, packed his bag, and went to Caris. Now, he made it clear to everybody, both staff and students, that he wasn't interested in what they were teaching there. He wasn't interested in, everything that was happening there, that he was just there simply to stay for 6 months so that he could get the car that the mother promised him. No problem. So at every point, he will want to stress that point, okay? So he stayed in the school, but he was there coming for the lectures, hearing what they were saying, but everybody knew he was not interested. He was just counting time to go and get the car from his mother. Now, by the time he stayed there for 6 months and he left, carried his bag, went back home, and then it was business as usual. He went right back into his group. But he saw that something had shifted. He was no longer the same person. The kind of things that they used to do was no longer interesting him. He couldn't fit in again. You know what he did? He carried his bag right back and went back to Caris and completed the Bible college. And I heard that today he's a pastor. Now, what the boy didn't know is that words are so powerful. You can't underestimate the power of words, whether it is spoken words or written words. Okay, that's what the boy didn't understand. Spending 6 months in that place, he became a completely changed person. Now, if you want to detox your children from the screen, if you want to divert their attention from the screen, I think you can borrow a leaf from this mother. What is it that you can give or incentivize your son or your daughter with? Your son or your daughter is hooked to the screen and he's a teenager, and you know that if he continues to be hooked to that screen, that he doesn't have a future. The screen has a way of robbing children of their future, right? You know all the disadvantages that can come from addiction to the screen. Okay, so what can you do as a mother to distract your child or to divert his attention from the screen? I hold webinars for parents on how to give their children a reading culture. And one of the things I teach parents is that they should use incentives, especially for their teenagers. With teenagers, incentives works. Okay, I tell them, offer them money. Tell them, read this book and give me the summary of what you got from the book, and I'll give you XYZ. I'll give you 2,000 naira. I'll give you 5,000 naira. It never fails with teenagers. They will take the books and they will read them, right? There was one mother that just moved, one of the women participants in my webinar, she just moved to one of the countries in the West, and she got back to me and told me that, the son was addicted to the screen. Not just addicted to the screen, but watching the wrong stuff in the screen. And she got back to me, she was really broken, she was crying. So I told her, you know what, look out for this book. There's a book titled Destined to Reign by Joseph Prince. I said, get that book, give it to him, and encourage him. He's your son, he's your baby. Okay, encourage him to read that book, and then let him share with you what he was gaining from the book. And one of the days, a couple of days back, she sent me a VN of the boy's summary of what he got from the book, and you could see that the boy was gaining so much. I was so happy listening to the voice note that the boy sent, and the mother got back to me thanking me profusely. Now, one thing I know, okay, about such books is that by the time he's reading those books, he will simply think he's just reading a book, but a lot of things are happening in his mind. Books are idea banks, and one idea from a book can change the perspective of a child forever. Okay, so as he's reading that book, a lot of things are shifting. For such a mother, I'll tell them, when he finishes reading that book, tell him to read it again. Is it not incentives? You give him, read it again, read it again, read it again. And as he's reading, a lot of things are shifting in his mind. And another important thing is this: as he is on that book, reading the book, he's away from the screen. So you have, for the time being, you have diverted his attention from the screen to the book. He has moved from the stuff he was watching on the screen that were not very good for him, and he's reading and getting the truth, getting ideas from a very beautiful book, okay? So even in my family, I raised my children. By the grace of God, I was able to raise my children with the reading culture. That every now and then, we need to incentivize my son to read one book or the other. My husband will say, baby, read this book and give me the summary, and I will give you XYZ. He will mention what he will give him. And it never fails for them. My son will take the book and read and send him a summary. Now, as you're doing that, you're doing a lot of things for your son. Number one, you are diverting his attention from the screen. Number two, he will gain a lot of ideas from the book. His vocabulary is increasing. He is getting insight, illumination, and understanding from the book. And one single idea from such a powerful book can change the life of a child forever. Okay, we only used it when it was time for him to do his JAMB. He wasn't paying so much attention. I told my husband, and Daddy got to him. Incentives once again. He told him, son, if you're able to score this mark in your JAMB, I will give you this. And it was something big he promised him. And he worked hard. I remember picking him immediately after his JAMB exams. The moment he entered the car, he said, I'll get my daddy's incentive. I'll get my daddy's prize, okay? And he did marvelously well in that exams, okay? So parents, you can leverage incentives to get your children away, okay? To get the attention of your children away from the screen into books. There have been mothers in history who did that successfully. And that's why I love the story of Ben Carson a lot, okay? You remember that Ben Carson, if you've not known their story, Ben Carson, their mother was a cleaner somewhere, and the two boys was on their own, hooked to the screen, watching all the things that were happening on telly. If they were not watching the telly, they were hanging out with the boys. And because of this, their grades were falling so low in school that the school's guidance counselor had to invite their mother and told her to come and withdraw them, that they were not school material. This woman thought about what to do and got an idea. What was her idea? Told the two sons to register in a public library, borrow 2 books in a week, read and give her a summary. 2 books of their choice, okay? She didn't dictate for them. She didn't insist. Just like so many mothers do, she didn't insist and say it must be school book. No, he told them, go to the library, borrow any 2 books of your choice, read them every week and give me the summary. Then she reduced their television. The programs they were permitted to watch in a week were just 2 programs. The rest of the time, they focused on reading their books. Now, what happened when they began to do that? These same boys that the school authorities said were very poor in school began to move. Their grades moved from F students until they became straight A students, and eventually they went on to become highly successful people. One was an engineer, the other was a doctor. What happened? A mother was able to incentivize her children, was able to change the focus of her children from screens and put books in their hands, okay? Now, before you think that that is an isolated case, that was also the story of Dr. Miles Monroe. Dr. Miles Monroe started life as a very dull student. According to him, he was so dull in school that one of his teachers, white teachers, called him a dullard, called him a monkey. He was an F student. But what happened? The mother threw a challenge to him, told him to begin to read the Bible cover to cover in a year. And as this young man began to spend time reading the Bible consistently, what happened? He changed his mentality. He moved from being an F student to becoming an A student. Okay, so that was why we were able to hear him. That one man that was able to write so many books, he wrote 49 best-selling books. One man, yes, because a mother dared to challenge him. A mother dared to put a book in his hands. In this video, I am talking to you. If you are a parent to teenagers, right? I'm talking to you. I want you to know that parenting is partnership with God. Every child that is in your house is primarily God's child before they became your children. So God is interested in their welfare. God wants them to be successful. And one of the things that I know that God wants you to do for your children so that they can be successful is to give them a reading culture, right? God is a God of books. He's a God of knowledge. He's the one that said that my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, okay? So when your child is hooked to the screen, watching all the things that might not be beneficial to him, God is interested in putting very good books into their hands. So what do? You go to God and ask him for wisdom. It was wisdom, divine idea that the mother of Ben Carson got. You can still access it. You can still get ideas from God to know what to do for your children in order to put books into their hands. You can do it. You've heard the story of the woman that sent her son to Caris Bible College. You've heard the story of Ben Carson and his mother. You've heard the story of Dr. Miles Monroe and his mother. You've equally had my own story with my son on how we incentivize them. So how can you incentivize your own children? What can you do for your teenagers to be able to put books into their hands? And you know, the beautiful thing I know about books is this: if you give your child books and he begins to read them, okay, incentivize him to read the first one, incentivize him to read the second one. By the third one of thereabout, he would have started enjoying those books. What I encourage you to do now is to talk with him, go with him to a bookshop or a library, and ensure that he gets the kind of books he loves to read, a kind of books that aligns with his interest. If he gets a kind of books that aligns with his interest, he will begin to read, right? He will begin to read. And once he begins to read, the rest will be history. The problem is that a lot of parents are too busy with careers or everything. But if you're watching this video and you've watched up to this time, I know you are interested, and I want you to please implement what we have said here. Get your child to begin to read books. It's not impossible. Most times when you talk with these children and you reason with them, they hear, right? I remember when my son was going back to school, I said, baby, I know you're going to be very busy, but ensure that you read at least one chapter of the Bible every day. He did as if he didn't hear what I said, or rather, he didn't give me any response. But a couple of weeks after he had gone back to school, I said, I hope you're doing what mommy said. I hope you're reading. He said, yes, mommy. That's why I wake up early in the morning so that I can read it before I go. See, when you're talking with this teenager, I told you I'm a mother to 3 Gen Z children. When you're talking with them, sometimes it will appear as if they are not listening. They are, and they obey you. They do what you say, okay? Outrightly, sometimes they will do as if they are not listening, but they do listen. So don't get tired of talking. Tell them the right things to do, and if you can, continue, just continue. Love them. It doesn't matter what they're doing now. Just continue to love them and share stories with them. Tell them what awaits them if they begin to read books. Tell them the benefits of books. Tell them the quotes, all the beautiful quotes about books. And you know what I normally say? If when you are talking to him, he doesn't want to hear, he doesn't want to listen to you, is there any authority figure you can bring in? Is there anybody, either in church or in the neighborhood, that he respects a lot? Get the person involved, okay? Get the person involved. But anyhow, one way or the other, just ensure that you get your child to begin to read books. Because you see, it says that when a man begins to read books, the whole world opens up to him. The keys of the 21st century are the keys of knowledge and skill. And both knowledge and skill you get from reading books, because when a child can read books, you see that he will be able to learn anything and everything he needs to become successful in life. Thank you so much for being a part of this beautiful video. If you got value from the video, please subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up. And if you love this kind of video that deals with how to give children a reading culture, you can as well click on the playlist here so that you can get a lot more of such videos. Until I come your way next time, remain richly blessed.